Hi, so welcome to Fortunate Born podcast, and I'm lucky to have, is it Thomas or Tom?
Either or, mate, I don't mind. Whatever flows off the tongue.
We'll go with Tom, because it's late on a Wednesday. So yeah, we're just going to go through, like we did with Mario on the previous episode, really, go through a little about Tom's history, his competitive career, what he's done in bodybuilding, go through tips, advice, yeah, really just get into the meat of bodybuilding in general, natural bodybuilding. Like, we might have enhanced guys in the future. I'm not that picky. So without further ado, Tom, floor is yours. Introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, what you're currently doing at the moment, where you've been.
So, honestly, man, thanks very much for having me on. It's always great to get to speak to other coaches, bodybuilders, people that are just in the fitness realm. And I'm going to assume I don't know you great, or I don't know you very well at all, but when we get to chat about this, I'm sure you're someone as well that this is your entire being. It's everything in your life. So it's good to always hear and speak to someone like that. But honestly, thanks very much for asking me to come on, taking up my request to be on. I'm a personal trainer, and I've been a personal trainer. I always forget this now. 17 or 18 years now. I'm based up in Scotland on the east coast, a small town called Arbroath. It's just about half an hour north of Dundee and about an hour south of Aberdeen. I now have my own gym as well. I've had that for like 3 years. And the reason I really wanted to chat on this is I've been obsessed with like physique development, and I don't know how to say this without sounding, I don't know, like I've always been good physiques, male physiques, like six packs, have always like drawn me. Like I've always been drawn to them. Even when I played basketball, I always thought like, I want to have the biggest arms on my basketball team, or like I want to have the biggest shoulders. Like I always wanted big cap delts. And that's been like from like as long as I can remember. I've always thought like, fuck, I want to have a six pack. Like I've always thought that. And then it wasn't until I'd done a kind of diet that I took semi-seriously. Like I tried all the shortcuts, all the fat burners, all the fads. I tried all of them before. It must have been like just before I went to university. I done a weightlifting cut because I'd done a bit of Olympic weightlifting. I've been into like pretty much everything, gym and fitness and exercise. I've been into all of it, and I know that most people will think like, oh, he's a hybrid athlete, but back when I was doing that, it was never like the same crossover of like be good at both. It was like get good at one and then go and do the next one and then do the next one. And it wasn't quite like a CrossFitter either. But I stuck with that. I done a semi-serious diet that I think I stuck to for like 12 weeks, just tracking calories, like a full-blown, like if it fits your macros, like not caring about protein, having cream eggs for like breakfast and that because it fit my calories. And then it wasn't until 2019 when I got a coach, Vaughn Wilson, prep coach. He was always VW Physique when I worked with him, and then he changed his name. Worked with him in 2019, done a photo shoot. Absolutely loved how hard it was. I loved how much it challenged me. I also loved how much I found out about myself. Then in 2021, I done my first men's physique season. Done okay in it. And then I came away from it and was like, right, I want to try and like do something with this. Like I want to be one of the top boys. I actually had like big goals, big aspirations with it. Like I wanted to be WNBF pro. I wanted to like really get all into it. So I had like a 4-year off season. And then I competed again last year, 2025, or tail end of last year. So I've only just been out. So, geez, not even, what's that? 5 months, 6 months, 5 months, something like that. Yeah. I think Dr. Eric Helms, 3DMJ, he described himself as like a physical culturist. Like I am someone that is just into everything that the human can do, all sports, all competition, the amazing feats of strength, endurance. I am into all of it. I've never been good at anything, but I've just liked dabbling in it all.
I suppose, like for myself, right, when you were younger, did you have any kind of influences that drew you into that, or was it very, very natural? Like, were you that person? Because I know I was this person that was like, Rocky, like Rambo, like Schwarzenegger, like all them guys. I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. All these guys were peaked at that kind of 90s level, right? You know, you think back to like Commando and Rocky and all that. Like, did you grow up in that as well?
Yeah, mate. So I'm 37. And I actually wrote this still annoys me to this day, right? There used to be this option on Facebook where you could write, it was like writing blogs, and you could save them. And I wrote this blog on why I think I was drawn to physique development. And I don't know if it's, my dad was a rugby player. My dad's massive. Like, my dad's got some of the broadest shoulders you've ever seen. My dad was a rugby player, so I grew up around like big, strong men, because I was always at like the rugby club every Saturday. All the cartoons had six packs and big muscly arms. Action men, the figures that we played with, they were all like ripped and jacked. Then the films, the Terminator, Commando, Rocky, all those films, like that was all the stuff that, like, as young, like for me anyway, I was drawn to and did watch. Yeah, so, and I wrote about, like, I don't really know why I'm so drawn to it, because I've got mates that I can remember, we used to play with our Action Men. We used to watch the same cartoons, play the same sports, but they didn't quite have the same, like, or they never really cared about it like I did.
Yeah.
It's funny, just before I came on, I kind of expected you to ask me. There was a website, I don't know if you remember it was called Simply Shredded.
I think I actually do. Because it was like there was only a couple of things out back when it was younger. Like, I remember the first time picking up, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, right? Like, and I remember reading that fucker through, like, page to page, right? Because, like, it was that bodybuilding.com and Ask Jeeves, like, it was just like right, it was kind of that, like, at the time. And, like, I, for example, I know I spoke to Mario about this last one, but I'll speak to you as well. I did not know there was a difference between natty and non-natty bodybuilding. I did not know half the guys who were on stuff. I didn't know there was such thing as of enhanced and non-enhanced. I for a very long time thought Schwarzenegger was natural. And then that was just like the belief system that I had throughout that. And I wish I was kind of more naive, because I think I would take the limit cap off what I think would actually be possible. So from a mentality or mindset point, it might be better, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. But I get it. I get it. So the website you said, Tom.
Yeah, there was just a guy on there, and he was just like, and you'll understand this, and all the bodybuilders understand this as well. He wasn't massive, right? But he was just like perfectly symmetrical, like perfect. And I remember just being like, I wonder if my physique could look like that. And like genetically, I'm not put together like this guy, but it, like, straight away, I was like, I want to look like that one day. And I remember I found it. I can't remember what his name was. I found an image of him. But I remember seeing that, and that was like me hooked. I was like, I want blocky abs. I want a full six-pack. I just want a line down the middle, pecs, and then big delts. And I just remember just being like, I want that. And I didn't actually ever think like, oh, people will like me more, or more girls will fancy me. I never really thought that. I just always thought, I think that's cool, and I would like to walk about looking like that.
Interesting, right? Because like when I think about in general, like how we get to this stage where we are like in the point where we're not footballers, we're not like athletic, we're not strength and conditioning coaches. Like you said, you might have done a little bit and dabbled a little bit in that. So me, for example, I played a lot of like semi-decent football when I was younger. I was chasing like professional contracts. I was trying to be a professional footballer. It didn't work out because it was shit. But I was always more of an athlete than I was a footballer. Like, if that makes sense, I could guess where people were going to pull the trigger as a defender. I could make myself very awkward if I was playing up front, like physicality wise. I was never the quickest, but quick enough. I was always quite strong, but like never like, huge guys that you see, like, because that guy starts going towards like rugby. For football, I was big. And like after I kind of went through that, I went through into the military. So obviously when people talk about hybrid, I look at them as like, mate, you're 20 years behind where we were. Like, we've been doing that for a while, mate. Like, the whole like, basically be really good at everything and suck at everything and not be good at anything as well, kind of sit in the middle. So it's always interesting to find your path through to where that is. So obviously you spoke about doing like your first proper cut, and you said how hard it was, and that was kind of your real probably introduction to like real physique development, wasn't it? Talk me through that.
So I guess one of the my first memories of it was I got like to a level of lean where I was like, fuck, like I actually have like, you can count it, I've got a 6-pack. And I knew I still had quite a while left to go. And I can remember asking my coach, and like by this time I had a degree in applied sport and exercise science, HND in sports coaching. Like I was coaching quite a lot of people. And I can remember still thinking like, and asking him like, mate, when are things going to change? Like when's food sources going to change? When's cardio going to change? Do we switch it from like this incline walking to something else? And he was like, mate, it's all working. You've just got to keep doing it. And then it just like clicked in my head. I was like, fuck, it is as simple as I got taught right back at my level 2, that you've just got to be in a calorie deficit and keep going. Like I was always like hooked on the idea that the more that I learned, I was going to find the shortcuts. And then fucking devastatingly, you find out that it's like the basics. If you can just get the basics and you can just stick to them for as long as you possibly can, you're going to do what you need to do. And I could, like, that was like one of my first memories of it, and being like, surely he's not expecting me to eat the same meals for another like 8 weeks or something. I can't remember how long it was, but he was like, well, mate, it's working. We might as well stick with it. And then I was just like, right, well, if he's saying that, I'll do that. And another memory as well that like always crops up in my mind is, I remember like I was about to pack it in. I was like, fuck this. This isn't good for you. This isn't healthy. Like, because again, I had this knowledge. Everything was about health and fitness. It was never about getting shredded. And I was just like, nah, no way. I'm gonna pack this in. I'm gonna pack this in. And then he was like, can you check in? And it was like an afternoon check-in. You know, when it gets towards the end and you're checking in every 20 minutes or something, it feels like. And I sent it through, and he was like, and I remember being like, as soon as he's replied, I was like, saying to my wife, or she was my fiance at the time, I was like, I'm just gonna tell him that I'm done. And I think I only had like 2 weeks. And I was like, and then he came through and he was like, mate, we need to run a Carb-Up. And it was quite old school then. So he was like, I need you to go get a 1/4 pounder with cheese, some fries, and we'll see how you look the next day. And I remember I'd been dragging out. Like I was like moping around, like barely able to do it. And I was doing fucking diving forward rolls through the house, being like, come on.
Mate, it's the message that every athlete wants to hear from their coach, which is like more food, like, oh, I have enough meal or something like that, right?
Yeah. I can remember as well, like other like little things as well, like how I was like, everybody was like, holy shit, man, you look unwell. And I was like, nah, I'm just toned. Like, I'm not even ripped. But I still had in my head that a lot of the physiques that I'd seen that were untested, unnatural, or people on gear, I still kind of had in my head that I should have looked more like that. Like, I should have been like, it should have made me look massive, and it should have made me like I should have looked grainy and like all my fibers. I just didn't have enough muscle. Like, I was not big enough.
Was there ever a point that you thought about that, where you thought about taking anything and going all to the dark side?
So the weird thing is, and again, I don't know if he's telling the truth. Honestly, my dad's massive, right? And he's swore that he's natural. He's always swore that he was natural. And I don't know if like knowing that he was natural and he was the size he was, I'm like, well, maybe I've got a bit of his genetics, but I've unfortunately got my mum. My mum's like slim and like long limbs. Like I'm built like my mum more than I am my dad. I've got my dad's torso. Like I've got a Coke can torso and then freaking pencil arms stuck in it.
It's got something.
Yeah. But no, from time to time, because I was able to do, like, you'll know yourself, like you're able to be consistent, you're able to be relentless with it. Like you've done it healthily. If you'd like trickled in a bit of gear with those things, like you're probably going to do something pretty spectacular, like enough that like everybody in the gym would be like, fucking hell, look at, you know, like, you kind of have that feeling. And I'm not taking anything away from the guys that do take gear that are absolute freaks, and me maybe making it sound like it's way easier, but like I've done a 3 or 4 year off season where I didn't miss a beat, I didn't miss a meal, I fucking gave my absolute all to it. If you put a bit of enhancement in there, you imagine it's going to be enhanced. It's going to be a bit better.
Yeah. No, I think it's incredibly powerful and very underrated, especially when you have so many young people just like hopping on and just doing it. And it's like, oh my God, you're eating cheeseburgers and fucking Cheerios, right? And like go and napping in the evening and drinking half a liter of water, and half of that is Monster. You know, and I'm like, and you're taking this, like, what are you doing? Like we see the best most of the best pros that will start off very natural. I think Sean Clarida is a very good example of this in bodybuilding, that someone that did it so well naturally and then transferred to enhance and doesn't miss a beat because he's already dialed in. And I think that's like such an underrated point, is like, show me you can do it naturally, and then you can discuss that later down the line, like 3-4 years when you're world champ or something like that, because then it's actually worth doing, because otherwise it's just not worth doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, a good point actually there when you've mentioned that. So I remember there must have been a time when I really was thinking about maybe doing it. Like I actually had it like, well, I'm not going to be in any tested sports, because it was before I'd done my bodybuilding stuff like I'd really done my bodybuilding stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually seen it was the first Alberto Nunez video.
All right, yeah.
And he spoke about, he was like, I'm going to take gear, and as soon as I get it, I'm going to dial in my nutrition, I'm going to dial in my sleep, I'm going to dial in my training. And then he just thought to himself, well, if I've never done that, I should do that first and then see. And that then just solidified it to me. I was like, well, he looks unbelievable and he's natural. I was like, I'm just going to dial everything in and just see where my physique ends up taking me. But no, it's also as well, and a lot of people never believe me when I say this as well, like, for me personally, right, bodybuilding, it's a sport, and there's a criteria and there's a way that you have to look for that sport for you to do well in the sport. I actually don't like to look big. Like I'd probably rather be like really slim, like almost skinny. Like I just like that way of looking. And I don't know if it's because I grew up in skateboarding and I worked in retail for a long time. So like being around fashion and stuff, that you don't see big jack guys in that world. And I just
I'm telling you now, right? I'm trying to remember the last time I measured my legs. My leg genetics are freaking crazy. I'm very happy. I'm blessed from the hips down, right? But when you get half blessed, the other half looks shit in comparison, right? So I don't fit very well into like jeans and trousers and stuff. Like even the gasp stuff, they're so big around my waist, but they barely fit my legs. And I'm like, this is gasp. Like, this is supposed to fit bodybuilding. How is this fitting like big rammy? It's probably not, like, and things of that nature. And then when I look at that, I can't fit into certain things, like even the height, because I'm 6'4". So like, I know also blanky limbs as well. I know that problem, that struggle as well. So trying to fill that out, that's been fun. I reckon I'm going to be 40 before I fill out, really. It's going to be hilarious. I've got another 7 years to grow.
Go on.
But yeah, that fashion point, right? Yeah, no chance. You got to throw that out the window. That's a sacrifice you can't get.
Yeah. I've always just kind of liked it. So now I don't even like the look either. Like I don't like that unnatural look. And I know like a lot of bodybuilders won't understand that because they're like, no, it's all about getting as big as you possibly can. But I think when it starts to shift away from like looking natural, and you can tell, it's unbelievable when you do see like one of the freaks, and you'll know yourself being at shows and stuff, like there's normally always one freak that you're like, they look like they're taking gear, but there's still there's still something about it. There's still like I don't know what it is, natural. I think it is just a natural, I don't know what the word would be, but you just see it and there's an aesthetic to it that I just prefer it. So I've never really been that attracted to taking gear. No.
Yeah, my decision tree came because obviously in the military you're drug tested, and guys do get found out for taking stuff like that in there and get chucked out, as long as the other, the Colombian marching powder and all the naughty stuff that people get up to on the weekends and stuff, like that's never appealed to me. Like I've been in rooms with it, I've been around it. I've always been quite straight arrow. Probably got to do the fact that my dad was a cop for 20-25 years plus as well. So like, I'd be getting in trouble if I drank a little bit too much, let alone anything else. Right? And he was the local like Bobby as well. So like if there was a disturbance locally, me and my legs would absolutely peg us. I don't want to be anywhere near this. Like, because I'm about to get absolutely shafted. So like when I kind of come out and I was like, well, I've got free reign now, right? I could take it if I wanted to. And I just looked around and I looked at all the guys that were taking it, and the aesthetic of it, they were like, the bellies were rounded, like, I don't know what concoction of GH insulin stuff, or whether it was just their diet was crap or they had no midsection control, but they looked aesthetically unappealing. And I was like, I don't want to look like that. Not a case about doing it or not. So like from an aesthetic standpoint, and then obviously the more I got into health and fitness, the more I learned about coaching, the more about I learned it grows your heart, it takes years off your life, like there's cholesterol concerns, there's all these other issues that can happen from that as well. And then after a while of being in the industry of the sport, you see like, the early deaths of people, and you're like, these are fantastic people. These are lovely people. Like, Cedric McMillan comes to mind when I think about that. I'm like, he should not, like, did it exacerbate it, make it worse, speed it up? Who knows, right? So yeah, that's definitely like my 10 cents on it. Talk to me about your competitive career so far then, Tom.
Okay, so I don't ever want this to come across as like I don't know how to say this.
Say how you mean it, man.
My most recent season, like the season at the tail end of last year, did not go to plan at all. Like, not even close. So I almost feel like I definitely don't think I wasted those couple years in the off season, but there's like not a bitterness in my mouth. Is it disappointing? I don't know. But right, doesn't matter. That was last year, and I'll come back onto it. But 2021, I done 4 shows. I done 2 smaller, like untested shows, just to try and like see if I liked it or not. Turned out I did quite like it. I came second in my first untested show. I done men's physique as well. I said that already, didn't I?
Yeah. But you can clarify anything,
So I came second, and then I done another untested show, and I think I came 4th. Then I'd done the UKDFBA, and I came 5th. And then I'd done the WNBF, and I came 3rd. And after coming 3rd in the WNBF, I was like, Jesus Christ, I've done like I've not done an off season. I only got like the boy that came second was definitely leaner. I was able to, and bless him, he's a great guy, and if he ever does listen to this, I could pose better than him, but he was a lovely lad. He was a little bit leaner. And then Chris Rendell, who's a good friend of mine, and mate, you should get him. His life is bodybuilding. I'll put him in touch with you.
Yeah. Send me the DMs.
Yeah, Chris Rendell, he beat me. He's fucking he's massive, and he was just bigger. So I thought, right, if I get as big as he is, compose well, because I was quite confident on the stage. I didn't mind being up there. Like I actually quite liked it. I was like, I might be in a chance to beat him. And then, right, last year, holy shit, the standard has just gone through the roof. Like, and I'd had it so much, and like I know everybody says this, don't do your whole bodybuilding career on like winning. Don't do it on like beating everybody. But that was what drove me. Like the biggest driver for me was like, be the best, beat everybody. But holy shit, was I humbled when I got there. The size of the guys, the aesthetic, the symmetry, the fucking pose, like everything was so good. But last year, like the tail end, I definitely didn't start my prep lean enough. Like I was up at, so I'm just under 6 foot, I think, maybe 5'10", we'll say, between 5'10" and 6 foot. And I started at like 100 kilos. I started my peak off season was like 100 kilos, and I couldn't really like, just because of life, and I was like buying a gym and everything, I didn't manage to really take off. Like, do you know, you do like, it's quite common to do like a pre-diet.
Yeah, like a pre-prep phase, to tidy up things. And
I think I dropped like 1.5 kilos or something, and fuck knows how long. Like it was quite a long time. And then I went into this prep, and I was definitely too big. But the sad thing was for me is like, I knew, like 4 weeks in, I was like, I'm not going to be Peel. Like I knew, and I was dieting down, and I was like saying to my coach as well, I was like, look, mate, I was like, I'm not where I need to be, because I've put a couple of people on stage, and I've done photo shoots with quite a lot of people, so like I knew where you should kind of be, and I knew where I should be, and I was dieting and I was digging in, and I was like, fucking hell, and I was also telling him, I was like, mate, this feels really hard, like way harder than it should just now. I was dropping 1.5 kilos every week. And then towards the end, I was like, mate, I'm just going to have to send it. I was like, I'm going to have to do way more than what you're suggesting. I'm going to have to do, like, I'm needing to go for it. But I'm quite a hairy guy. And he was like, right, we're going to have to shave that off, because I think you're leaner than what you realize. But mate, when I shaved it off, I was still like really soft looking. And I knew he had a bit of a panic in him. I think there was maybe a bit too much trust between like athlete coach. Like I think he thought, like, not in the sense of me saying like we're not lean enough, I think he maybe just always knew, like, oh, Tom knows what he's doing. He's maybe just having a bit of a panic. Like, so then what ended up happening is towards the tail end, mate, I was on 1,400 calories. I was doing an hour on the Stairmaster every day. I was doing 20,000 steps. I was doing 30 minutes on the cross trainer, and I was doing 30-minute incline walk, and none of my cardio I counted to my steps. It was just fuck. But the proudest thing for me, and this is like the thing that, like, everybody will tell you, but you do lose sight of it, is I was just so proud of myself for giving my absolute all, even though I knew I wasn't going to be even close to what the original goal was. But I dug in like I'd never dug in my life. But then I also had plans as well, and this isn't like a dig at anybody. I understand that there are rules. I had it in my head that I was going to finish top 5. I actually thought I was going to be like top 3 in every, like, because I just had it. I'd put in such an effort. I knew I'd gotten a lot better than 2021, and I was like, right, this is it. This is going to be my year. The people are going to talk about, like, me. They're going to talk about me, my physique, and I just was way too soft. Like, I'm talking like I maybe still needed to drop like maybe another 6 pounds.
Okay, so yeah, you're like, you're lean, but you're not bodybuilding lean.
Yeah. Like, and you'll know yourself. Like, there's always someone backstage, or there's always someone at a show that's like, yeah, mate, I should have dieted for another 4 weeks. Like, I knew I was off. And I knew that I wasn't that guy that was like, had done his absolute, like, he thought he was ready, but then seen everybody else. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be ready. Like, I was going down to the shows. I'd booked the Airbnbs. I'd actually tried to book my full season. I was going to go all over. I was going to do like a full WNBF season. I was going to go Italy, France, Germany, Canada, Spain, Portugal. I was going to do all of them. Like, I was just like, I'm just going to make an absolute season of it, because I knew I was going to be done. I knew I was going to be finished after last season. But because I didn't finish top 5 in the UK one, I didn't qualify to go anywhere. And I understand the rules, and that's not me like moaning or griping or anything, because I did speak to them a few times about it.
What was the consensus there between you when you had that discussion with the WNBF?
It's rules. It is the rule. So like, I was like, look, I came third in, because I still had that sort of like, and I wouldn't call it ego, but because I was just like so proud of it. I was like, I was third place in men's physique that year. I was like, I am an athlete. I've lived like a pro bodybuilder. I've done absolutely fucking everything. I just didn't diet. I just didn't get myself lean enough. Like, and then they were like, look, we cannot twist the rules for one person. Like, we appreciate everything you've done. And like I'd spoke to all of them so much, because I tried to preempt that, like, I was going to finish it. So I'd been emailing them all from like just before I started my prep, because I was going to start booking Airbnbs and booking flights to go everywhere. And like, I'd saved for like these 3 years, because I knew it was going to be a big hurrah season. Fortunately, that money that I saved, I managed to get a nice new bathroom. But like, yeah,
hey, not a complete loss.
No, they were so like, they knew that I was like devastated, because I had it in my head, and I didn't want to do like pishy shows. Like, I didn't want to keep dieting for like, and I don't mean any disrespect, like UKDFBA, WNBF, PCA, like, they were like the shows, you know, like, they're like the top league in the UK. And I kind of seen it like, if I didn't do well in them, I didn't really care. Like, I just
that's the standard, right? Because I know that for people that are competing this year that I've got going into it, having competed in those other federations. Now, I haven't done BNBF, and I haven't done PCA, but I have done WNBF and I have done UKDFBA, and I did a NABA show in 2016. That I had no idea whether the game was like unnatural or tested or not, which is hilarious. And I don't know if you because you've been in the game for a while, you might recognize. You remember the UKBFF? It was like a red like logo.
That's the one I came second in.
So that's the one you come second. So at the time of this, 2016, I think they'd either just disbanded or just about to implode. All right. And they had a load of competitors that were going on, because I was in first time I ever competed. It was NABA. And they had a load of guys jump ship across from that. And I was looking at these guys and like, you and you are all in killer shape. And we were talking background, we're like, you know, first show, like, oh yeah, well, we come across them like there. They said we could compete first time and all the rest of it. So I don't know if there was some politics going on. I don't know. But there was a very clear gap between like half of us and this other half that come in. But that was very interesting as well. But you're absolutely right, because when I've got a couple people at my gym that rock like is it the NPA?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like, and they rock this, but they rock the merch and everything. And I have a look at them and I have a look at the way they train, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
And I see some of the Instagram and the bits like that, and I'm like, they've got some like great guys that come and do some stuff in there, but it looks like they go through, pick up the winner's trophy, and just duck out. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. I think what's quite common as well, or like I think it makes sense, and it's good that we've got this option. What people will do is they'll dip into those shows. There'll maybe be 2 people in their category. They get the win, and then they can say, "I won." Like, I get it. It does build confidence. It can get rid of that, like, do you know the idea, like ring rust, like, you know, like boxers will have like I do get that, right? And I don't want it to be that it's like discrediting any of these federations whatsoever.
No.
But it's almost like there's an A league and a B league. Like, I kind of felt like that.
Yeah, I feel the same.
But what I think is really nice, Martin, and you'll have these guys that you're talking about, there's people that are like die-hard fans of different federations. Like, there was guys, and I think it was that, did you say NPA? I'm sure they've done a show.
Yeah, I want to say it's like the National Physique Association. Like, I'm also aware of some other smaller ones as well. Maybe because the OCB is quite big in the US, but it's not so big maybe over here.
Yeah.
Not too sure about that one either.
No, I'm not, I don't know if there is. I feel like maybe there is, though. But yeah, there's just so many federations. Like, I went to that, I'm sure it was the NPA, and there was boys there that were like 60 years old that were like, oh yeah, this is like my 30th year competing with that like the federation or that same show. And I just remember being like, you just love this, like, you love this bunch, like, and it didn't feel cliquey as such, but like there was people that were clearly year-round competitors, you know, like every year they're there again, and their wives knew each other, and it was lovely. But like, for me, it wasn't about like that. For me, it was like, I genuinely wanted to be deemed as like one of the best men's physique athletes in the world. Like, I wanted to create a physique that people would see and they'd be like, holy shit. And then fell short, man.
So what were the results from the year just gone then, like placings wise?
So, dead serious, I think if I didn't finish, I probably finished like either second to last, like, honestly.
Yeah.
The beauty is, I think in the WNBF, I maybe finished like top 10, right? But the guys on stage, PCA, maybe both shows, to be honest, the WNBF and the PCA that I done last year, I've honestly, like, I don't think I'll ever see physiques much better than what that was. Like, I don't know where they would be able to go from that. And I know that they always say there's like, oh, well, there's no ceiling to this. Like, we'll be able to keep developing things. Honestly, like, the standard now is just so scary. And I know that these guys will be able to fine-tune things a little bit. Like, I know they will. But honestly, for my brain to try and comprehend or see things much better than like what was on that stage then. Like, I knew, like, looking at them, I'm 37. I was looking at boys that were maybe like 22 to 25, and I was like, you potentially could get a fair whack bigger. But the truth is, like, not many people are going to commit to it for
that long,
4 or 5 more years. Like, they'll probably be done with it. Like, they'll have won, they'll maybe finished. A lot of people, you'll know yourself, they'll do one prep and they're like, this is bullshit, but they've got all the talent and potential in the world. Like, it was honestly, and I'll tell you, Martin, I came away from it fucking fuming. Like, I was raging, I was embarrassed, I was really upset, and I was like, but I was looking at it purely as like an athlete, and I was trying to be a pro about it. Like, I was trying to be like, it's just how the cookie crumbles. But I knew that the reason I hadn't done well wasn't because I wasn't good, and I just didn't get there. I didn't manage it.
Yeah, so you didn't actually, for you, if you look at like what your maybe standards or alignment or like what you knew you could present and the potential capabilities that you had didn't match up with the results, because you knew there was like, well, this isn't actually the best I can bring.
Yeah. But that's the other thing as well. Like, I don't know if you know, in martial arts and like sports like that, like if you don't make weight, they're like, well, you're supposed to be a pro athlete, you should know how to do that. And I do it like I was embarrassed, but as an athlete, people were asking me when I came back to my gym, oh, how did the shows go? How did you get on? And I didn't have any other response or answer other than fucking terrible. Like I came last. But there was these two older women that come to my gym every morning, and they asked me how my weekend was. They were like, oh, how was your weekend? Not how the shows were, not how did I do. And when I thought about it for a second, I was like, I had a fucking brilliant weekend. I've seen some of the best physiques I'll ever see. I stood on stage with boys that are probably going to do pretty phenomenal things over either this year coming or next year within the space of like men's physique and bodybuilding. I got to see some of my best pals. I got to hang out with some good friends. I got to, Gregor, my coach, my wife, got to spend time with her. And because I dug in so deeply, like those last few weeks to try and get, mate, I'm dead serious. I think I lost 10 pounds in like 5 days. Like I was honestly like killing myself. But I went like psycho. Do you know how you get that like?
Yeah, real ton of it. Do you think you sacrificed a bit of muscle at that end point then with what you did?
Oh yeah, definitely, mate. I was fucked. Nah, mate. Actually, I reckon I was still like enough body fat to be okay. I honestly think I still had enough body fat to be okay. Like I say, I think I needed like 4 to 6 more pounds to come off.
Yeah,
I think the body was doing okay.
I definitely agree with what you said about the start point being so crucial for like when you start, right? So I started my prep. I did a pre-diet phase. I think I went to Switzerland in September, and then I kind of just cruised in for a bit. And I remember there was a look when I was bulking I took my check-in pictures when we were in Switzerland, and I just looked fucking huge, but in a good way, because I could still see my V lines, like from my obliques. I've got really big obliques, so I've got a long torso. I've got big chunky hips, and my rib cage is letting the fucking team down, basically. But from that perspective, I was like, fucking hell, I built some decent muscle here. Because I worked with Elliot Gibson, who was my coach for two and a bit years, ran through the first prep, went through the pre-prep phase and all the rest of it, basically installed the standards of what it needs to be to become a good bodybuilder. And he's kind of learned off some of the best as well. Cal Raystrick, he's been coached by AJ Morris, and obviously now he's part of Team Powell with Adam Powell. And obviously he got his WNBF pro last year as well. So, built a phenomenal physique. And I've watched him go from pure gym PT to like now where he is now, and he's a tall guy like me. Like we both stand up to each other. We said if you took his top half genetics and my bottom half genetics, you would create an unstoppable force in natural bodybuilding. It's just like he used to play basketball, I used to play football. But what was brilliant about this is that when I started at 113 kg, I would look at that now going, oh shit, I would never start a prep at there ever again, because you're like the digging I had to do to get out of that was absolutely fucking vile. And I was doing 4 lots of 40 minutes cardio. I think I went down to 1500 calories. I depleted at 88 for the WNBF show, which was a kilo lighter than I depleted for the UKDFBA show. And we pulled cardio like 9-10 days out, because my adductors and hamstrings after doing the cardio and the steps just started cramping on me, and like fatigue started to like really the mind was willing but the body was weak. At that point it was like, I will do this, and I will keep going, but there's getting to a point where I'm gonna have to swap this out to a cycle, and trying to do the same is not the same, right? And that was interesting, because I ended up going from 113 to 88, and this what I would class 2024 would be my first competitive year, like, because I don't really class the NABA and what I did before. I lost 20 kilos. I got on stage, but I wasn't peeled. I wasn't ready. Like I was photo shoot lean, and that's why I didn't place or do well, like regardless of whether I was enhanced or not. So when I come back and did this again, so when I played second the UKDFBA, that was a complete shock. I was in novice. I was like, cool, I can't do first timers. I understand that. I did it 2016. I've shot myself in the foot here. I didn't have a coach back then, but that's the price you pay sometimes for admission into a sport, right? Is that naivety to begin with. And I don't regret it at all, because I can pass on these lessons to other people now. I was like, what you choose and how you do this really, really does matter, and can set you up for success in the sport or not. And then when I placed, because I definitely looked worse for the WNBF for show, in my opinion, whether that was lighting, glaze, tan, stress, water retention, something was off. Because I look at the two pictures and the UKDFBA, I'm like, oh, I look fucking gnarly. Like I'm lean. I can see that. Now I could probably go, and the guy who beat me might have just had either a little bit better posing or was like 1% leaner, and you could see a little bit more like leg definition. And I'm like, that's sound, absolutely fine. But I looked at that going, right, I've got the raw materials here. I just need to kind of like tone this in. And now it's about catching the upper body up to match the lower. I'm 33. And when you start, I've been working out for so long now that when I do get lean, I've got these like cuts in certain places that just look fucking gnarly. And it's just because I've been training for so long. And yeah, that's a very good point about the start point, man. But and that really does make a big difference to how you could do, because for natural athletes, we don't have the capability to use anything like that. We have to be so much smarter about our decisions.
Yeah, do you know one of the worst parts is like I've still got a bit of a burning ember in me. Like I've packed it. I don't think I'll compete again. But there is a bit of me that's like, well, I need to get shredded once more. Like I need to get diced. Like I just want to feel that way of like, do you know when you're just like so fine-tuned with yourself? Like you're stupid. Like you get brain fog. You don't want to stand up, but you are so like dialed in with yourself. Like I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. But
yeah,
I would definitely be starting a lot leaner. I probably wouldn't even push up again. I think I would just hold where I am. Like I'm only like what? I think I'm not even 10. I'm like 9 kilos heavier than what I was when I was on stage. Like
yeah,
I would just pull that off again and then just go that a little bit further. But yeah,
interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff. I mean, for yourself then, what's looking towards the future then? If obviously competing is maybe not really up there anymore.
So I've got a few clients that are like, or athletes that are they're going to be on stage. So I'm still very much in the world. Like I still love it. I'll say this as well, and I'll say this on here because bodybuilders will love this. I think it's the hardest thing you can do. That or a fight camp. Like if you're like a MMA, jiu-jitsu, something like that, and you've got to like cut weight and then still get battered. Like I think that's maybe the hardest thing. But I honestly don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything harder than bodybuilding. Like anybody could do. Whenever I say that, people will say things like, "Oh, well, go to the Olympics." That's physically impossible for me. Like I don't have genetics. I don't have like natural, unbelievable talent in anything. Bodybuilding, anyone can do it. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at it, but anybody can do it. Anybody can diet. Anybody can do the cardio. Anybody can fucking do the weight training. Anybody can do that side of stuff. But most people can't do it. So like an old thing that I used to say all the time is everybody can do this, but not everybody can do this. So like everybody.
Yeah. So it's the classic of like it's so easy to do for a day or two, right?
Yeah.
You know, come back to me when you do it for a decade. How's your consistency on a longer span of things? Because that's how me and you both know, like you run your own business, I run my own business. We know this doesn't just happen in a month or so. And the guys that think it do tend to be like, you know, they tend to be like grabbing cash and running to the next city or the next town or the next country and doing that until they come full circle again and everyone's forgotten who they are. But you know, things like this, they matter because, like, especially if you've got younger athletes coming to you, right? It's like, well, I can tell you what's going to be required. I can definitely tell you what not to do as well. And I think that's where like coaching has such an immense power for people, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's the thing. Like I always say, there's no point in me knowing it and not sharing it. Like I could just sit in my bedroom, sit in my office here. Oh, look at all the books I've read. Look at that. Like it's useless. You learn it to give it to other people. Like you're doing things and going through things to make sure that like I don't have any kids, but I'm sure that like most parents, they've made a bunch of mistakes and they'll try and convince their kids to not make those mistakes so they maybe progress faster or don't have to deal with like setbacks as quick, whatever. But like that is it. Like you learn and you do things and you pass it on to someone else and then they have a better experience or perform better or get more out of it. Yeah, it's always about was it Denzel Washington said like make one, take one? So anytime that you get to the top of the ladder, you turn around and you pull someone else up. Like
yeah, I like that. I like that saying. I'm trying to remember what that specifically is. Like, you know, when you do make it to the top, make sure you turn around and help the next person up so they can get up to it as well. Like, I like the saying of like, we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? Of like everyone that's progressed or pushed that sport further. If you look at what we are capable of doing now naturally, I don't feel there's a need to like really offer that enhanced route really at all. And I think when you start going down that route, it's like, well, you better be like understanding of everything that's going to go on with that, because like what you can do now naturally is absolutely phenomenal. Like it is ridiculous what we can do now. The access to information that we have, the potential to have not only like better coaches, but there's more coaches easily available to you now with online and social media and things like that. You know, you can go pick up the blower and go get a top coach, like, and there's more of them than there's ever been before that actually know what they're doing. Now, granted, yes, it is a pyramid where the base has never been fuller of so much shit. Okay, which I'm sure that we could spend another hour on that, right? But yeah, like, you know, for me, it's always the continuous career development, the education around things, understanding how we can apply that knowledge, and but also like walking it yourself, right? Because you've gone through all of this journey by yourself, you can then bestow that onto your clients. In fact, you know, you run a gym, in essence, like your job is physique development, but we know that also aligns with mindset, lifestyle, and all that stuff, because we know it's holistic. It all works together, right? So I just like for yourself, man, any like closing remarks, any lessons you want to pass on, any tips for anyone out there, whether that be lifestyle, physique, bodybuilders, anyone like that, Tom?
If I was to give them something, it would just be keep going. Just keep going. Like, just keep trying. You can only fuck it up if you quit. Like, just keep going until you get it right. But yeah, mate, honestly, thanks for having me on.
No, it's absolute pleasure. So where can people find you, Tom?
So I'm on all social media, but it's Tom_TSHF on Instagram, and then TS Health and Fitness on pretty much everything else. And then you'll be able to find everything because it's all linked together. The gym's linked to everything. And
we'll be putting the links in the description, man. So no stress about that. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you on in the future. Yeah.
Fantastic. That'd be great.